Good afternoon, Jacob. Welcome to Building Local Business.
Good afternoon, Carl.
Thank you.
Don't sound so interested.
Yeah.
On this podcast, we meet local business owners and we discuss how they are succeeding in their business, and hopefully we can learn a thing or two.
Awesome.
So we have Dave Warner here in the studio. He's making all the magic happen there.
Yeah, that's what they say. Making something.
It's not just what they say. It's the truth.
Okay, all right.
All right. So could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Jacob Manning. I own SurePrint Pack N Ship. We are a retail pack, ship, and print store out of Ilion, New York. Yeah, we do. We're a FedEx authorized ship center and a UPS authorized shipping outlet. What that means is basically you bring your packages in for returns, UPS or FedEx, Amazon returns, things of that sort. And we also create the labels. If you want to send, if grandma wants to send you cookies, this is how you would do it. We also, do U.S. Postal Service as well, in addition to those services. Yeah.
Okay, great. And it's something that we didn't have in Ilion. My wife would always have to go to Utica usually.
Yeah, there's Utica. I think the nearest FedEx authorized ship center is towards Utica. There's the UPS. The UPS stores were a little bit different than the UPS store. We're sort of like a step down, but we still have a lot of the same capabilities as a UPS store. The only caveat I would say is just a little technicality is that the QR codes for Amazon returns we cannot do at this stage, not yet. It's kind of like the UPS store has
You're
a
getting
monopoly
there
on
though,
those.
right?
Yes, we're getting there.
Okay.
It should be Q1 of 26 is
Now,
what we've been told.
Is it UPS that you had some challenges getting?
Yeah. So initially getting, just a lot of logistical moving parts, getting the contracts in place with UPS. FedEx was quite a bit easier, it was quite a bit easier with FedEx. So UPS just took a little bit of time to get, but we're there, so it's great.
Now you can take care of everything except for the QR codes, right?
Yes, just the QR codes. They're the pesky QR codes, but everything else, should be good to go.
All right. So, could you tell me a little bit about your background, where you're from?
Yeah. So I grew up down on Long Island. Shout out to my 631 folks out there. I grew up on Long Island, moved up to Little Falls probably 3-4 years ago, and I really just wanted to get out of the hustle and bustle of kind of the Long Island, kind of the city life down there. Found Little Falls and just kind of fell in love with it. So I think I've been, sinking my teeth in quite a bit here with the business stuff, and I did go to college down there. I had a 4-year bachelor's of science in business management down there at Farmingdale State College, which is SUNY school. So it's been doing pretty well for me. It's
excellent. So you made your way up here. What did you just take a weekend trip, see where?
I initially looked. I drew like a 4-hour radius, and I said, I don't want to go further than that. My sister was down in Savannah, and I said, that's like way too far. It would be like more of a whole extended, protracted trip to do something like that. So I drew like a 4-hour radius from where I was, and I said, let me look at different places in here. And Little Falls was one of the places I came up to look at it one weekend, and found the house that I own now, and it's going. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you went to college down there for business. Did you always know you were going to be a business owner?
Yeah. So I was. I guess as much as you can know. I had a small business down on Long Island. I think I was one of the only like 17-year-old people that like had a business, and then at like 18 or 19 I like signed a lease to a storefront. I don't know too many other folks that have done that, in all fairness, but I did have like a retail computers, like IT shop down on Long Island, which is similar to what Mike does now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, our colleague Mike here. So it was yeah, it was a pretty positive experience down there. Had that for a few years and just kind of exited with that. But
Nice.
yeah, no, just like retail, IT services and kind of fixing computers. I didn't do too much of the tablets or anything like that. So
All right.
seeing Mike do it now, our colleague over at he's with Tailored Computer Care. You did the interview with him the other week.
Yeah.
But he's great. He does all that stuff
And
now.
do you share a workspace with him? Do you guys kind of like help fill in each other if you have to run into the
Yeah.
office?
So he's actually stepping away for. He's got his military, obligations and stuff like that. So he's stepping away for a little bit of time, and so we try to fill in, help each other out when we can and stuff. And I think it works out really well. We started out in Dolgeville actually, and I think Mike told the story a little bit before, but basically, we went to the same board meetings and we hadn't known each other previously, but there was a call out to say, hey, who wants to occupy this space in Dolgeville, this kind of shared space? We put our hat in the ring and, we won the kind of the bid for it, Mike and I, and we hadn't known each other beyond a year and a half ago from a hole in the wall here. So it was, it's been going well so far.
That's great. I think that's a really cool idea that you could, that the village could set up something like that with a shared workspace.
Yeah.
Make those connections. So neither of you guys are in Dodgeville anymore? Did you both move out here?
Correct. Yeah. So just with sort of like the major ongoing construction and the road work and everything like that, it was just pretty prohibitive, unfortunately. They're doing a lot of good work down there, but it's just it put a hamper on a lot of the businesses.
They're paving the road in front of your place today. Did you see that?
So I've heard. Yeah,
Yep.
I was down there last night helping someone out at like 8 p.m. or something like that. I had an old client down there that I was just finishing up something with, and so that's one thing that I'm really like not afraid or not opposed to putting in the hours, working overtime, working after hours and stuff. So I had to drop something off to an old client there, and I was there at like 8 o'clock last night, and there were there was like a crater as you kind of go down to to get across the road. Yeah, it was like a 2-foot drop. Yeah. I said, I hope no one sprains their ankle on this.
Well, they in some of the spots they had put like they had built dirt up. Like to get up onto the curb because it was 2 or 3 feet. But today I'm like, are they putting 2 feet of asphalt down? I mean, it's wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, no, Mike actually, I think in a smarter move, he had pulled out of there as soon as we got the Ilion space. My thought was if I could keep the Dolgeville space open, I would. But it was just business decision. It just didn't quite make sense to spread myself that thin.
What were some of the other challenges aside from the road work that you experienced running 2 stores?
I think just sort of spreading myself pretty thin there. It's one of those things where you want to have a focus on a few things, but not too many.
Gotcha.
I tend to focus on a couple different things. Yeah.
All right. And did you ever end up bringing someone on to help man both the stores, or you did it all yourself?
Yeah, no, I did. So what's good with Mike and myself is that we and his colleague Donnie, we can sort of fill in when the others are out. So for example, Donnie and myself, well, not right now, but Donnie is there now in helping out with Mike as he's out in the services. And I'll fill out in if Mike has to go to a house call or something like that. So it all sort of works, hand in hand. Yes. So, but to answer your question, we did have some help. We actually employed some folks, or they did an internship with Access VR. So there's folks with different abilities and things like that, where they would. Mike's side of it is quite a bit more intricate and technical. whereas my side is of the arrangement, you're usually just like scanning or not QR codes, but you're usually just scanning codes and things like that, and punching in addresses. It's not rocket science, but it's a much needed service, absolutely. So folks with different abilities, it's customer service related. So I think that can lend itself toward giving those people an opportunity to get back into the workforce and things like that.
Gotcha. Okay. So, Mike over there, he has been involved in sort of some community things. Did you get involved in any of that as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, there was the Boo Bash that I know Mike had, was pretty involved in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to get quite a bit more involved as, again, as I've pulled out of Dolgeville fairly recently, and as we look to hire some, additional folks. I did an interview the other day for another young lady with Access VR. And so as we're looking to bring on some people, especially with the holidays coming up, that would be something that we would consider, doing more events and doing more with the community. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. So you're bringing on some more staff. Do you plan on expanding out to more stores in the future, or did you kind of like get your fill with that experience?
No. I mean, I think it's always an option, always a consideration. I think the timing has to be right, much the same that the timing was right at the time for Dolgeville. And similarly, the timing was right at the for Ilion. I think it's just a matter of like when you find the right opportunity, you have to seize that opportunity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we found the Dolgeville. It was just like on a Facebook post or something like that from the gentleman whose family had donated the building to the city or to the village there. And just through this random Facebook ad, we saw that opportunity arose, and I pursued it, and I seized that opportunity. And there was a different or a better opportunity with Ilion there, much more sort of populous area and things like that. Sort of a better location. But yes, so that opportunity arose, and we seized that one as well.
All right, great. So you are involved in some other stuff, like, for instance, a public service director of urban renewal. Is that right?
Yeah. So I am. I serve as the director of the urban renewal agency at Little Falls here. I think there's a good amount of skills and overlap and things like that I bring to each of these, just based on my background. Is that with the urban renewal job that I had gotten after starting SurePrint, the benefits of knowing the connections and the contacts that I've used for SurePrint have proved invaluable with the urban renewal job. Specifically, for example, is like my contacts at Mohawk Valley Economic Development District. Heather and Steve there have been great. I could rattle off quite a few, but Mohawk Valley Edge, I believe it's Tim Fitzgerald over there, and Small Business Development Center is Zach Stefan. He's been great.
Yeah, I work with Zach too.
Yeah, Zach's great over there. They run a really good ship over there, a really tight ship, and the Thinkubator is great.
Yeah. So Ryan over there.
Yeah. So they're all good folks over there, and Herkimer IDA, obviously. So all of those connections, all of those contacts I had in procuring funding and grants for my startup business, that I can now similarly utilize and give to folks in the community in my capacity as Director of Urban Renewal. So knowing those points of contact and having the understanding of, hey, you need a business plan. So, for an MVED subsidized loan, you need a business plan. And if you want to augment that with Herkimer IDA's grant, you can do that, but you have to see Zach at the Small Business Development Center to get your business plan in order so that it can go to both of those folks. There's a lot of moving parts that I had to learn for myself, but now that I can sort of give that knowledge to other businesses. I've spoken with a number of businesses on Main Street, and I've shared that knowledge with them. So as to try to help them.
All right. So if I owned a business in Little Falls or wanted to start one, then I could go to you and say, hey, this is what I have planned, or these are my challenges, and you could point me in the right direction to other resources that could.
Yeah, I would. I'm always happy to help. Even if I did not have the position that I have at the City of Little Falls, the Urban Renewal Agency, the knowledge and I suppose my willingness to help other businesses is ever present there. Awesome. I have a kind of like a sweet spot or a soft spot for other small businesses, and I really just like if I always say like the resources are out there. Especially for small businesses and for grants and things like that, the resources are out there. You just have to, I guess, know who to ask, or to actually ask is the first and foremost kind of process there.
Yeah, working with grants is a challenge, I find.
It can be.
All right. Well, great. Thanks for sharing your support with the small businesses, local businesses of the area.
Of course.
Like you said, you have a soft spot for them, and I do too. I really appreciate small businesses and what they do, and hoping that we can get more of them to succeed together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, awesome. I think what you're doing is great here. Carl.
Great. So, you listed a lot of things, but one thing I did want to touch on is the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce. We actually saw each other at a dinner they had.
We
recently.
did. Yep. Which was very nice to see you there. Yes. So I've been pretty active member of the Herkimer Chamber of Commerce. It's funny because when I had my small business down on Long Island, I still keep in touch with the former executive director down there. Shout out Lori if you see this. But she was great. We had done the websites together, and we had gone to various events and networking things. And it's always nerve-wracking, but I think it gets a little nerve-wracking, or a little less nerve-wracking as you kind of do it. It's been very positive. The connections that you make there. It's not like you go to one of them and then you have a fantastic network or anything like that. Right. But little by little you kind of
build up relationships.
Time, yep, and that's kind of how it goes. Those are very positive to have that network there with the Herkimer Chamber. Yeah,
networking is something that's come as a challenge to me because I've always been like a introvert.
Likewise.
So putting myself out there and meeting people, I have a hard time just walking up to somebody and introducing myself, but kind of just being around enough gives more opportunities for it to come naturally.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you have to, just kind of put yourself in those environments, put yourself in those spaces, and it'll happen, and you'll be okay. You'll make it out on the other side. Hopefully with some new connections that are meaningful and worthwhile. And I think that's what I've been able to do. I think one of the other connections that I would say has been beneficial is when I was I was out of work for a short period of time for medical reasons about 2 years ago, and when I was getting back into the workforce, I had taken, it was just a very, very small, like a light job, a part-time seasonal job at ARC Herkimer in their golf course there, the Mohawk Valley Golf Center. And I took a part-time seasonal job there, just, doing, working in the kitchen there at that center. And that connection that I had there, I did not know it at the time, but that connection, like a year and a half later, would lend itself towards me finding the space in Ilion that we're at currently.
Oh, okay.
Because we have, because I had that connection with Kevin and, Tony over there, Tony, Visconti, and so, it's good to make those inroads with folks and not burn any bridges, because you never know who or when you might need to lean on someone or have a question, and well,
that's the thing with business is it's not like it's kind of like a give take thing. Over time, you find value in working with people, and it's not like
it's not a one-way street,
right?
Right.
So, awesome. So we have a busy season coming up for you.
We do, absolutely. I wanted to highlight just a couple little things, if I may.
Absolutely. Please
there are, we do we're coming up on the holidays, so that's the busy season for shipping and sending things out. But we also have some really nice photo printers that we can do cards and things like that for pictures of the grandkids and stuff. I always use grandma's cookies and the grandkids, and I suppose it could be parents and their but we also have we can do a sale that would be $5 off $50 in shipments or more for the holiday season here. You do want to check the websites and everything like that just to make sure you're actually sending your package out and allowing time for it to be received. If you want them underneath the tree or what have you, then you certainly want to keep in mind those deadlines and things like that.
Awesome. So does that deal work with both businesses and individuals?
Yes. Yeah, it would.
Excellent.
And we also, speaking of businesses, we have done some freight shipments as well, actually, which are very we are actually part of it's called a Package Hub Business Centers franchise. So the freight shipments and our FedEx and UPS shipments and things like that, we have extremely discounted rates on those already. And I was actually, I've done some freight before, like LTL, less than truckload freight. Each time I get the quotes, that'll give me like a laundry list of like 10 carriers and things like that. I'm always shocked at how inexpensive these things can be. Nice. It still is a pretty penny, but just given the what you're sending is like a few hundred pounds on a couple pallets. We sent something from a Dolgeville warehouse to Georgia, and it was very reasonable.
Okay, so you can go right across the U.S.
Yeah, you can go right across the U.S., across the country, and we also do international shipments as well. We're working to get our DHL, contracts and everything like that in place. They're a huge international player. Package Hub can assist with some of those connections to be made there, which is great.
Awesome.
Being a part of that network.
Great.
Franchise.
So you're working with individuals and businesses. I did also see for your printing side some menus that you made.
Yeah.
They came out really good.
Yeah. So Mike actually helped a lot with those menus for Shook and for Franco's and a couple other businesses around there. I did some menus for it's Beltree's in Herkimer. They're great over there, we do very nice menus for a couple of these businesses, and we welcome other businesses to check out our samples and come to us with whatever they might have, and we'll be happy to look at it and see how we might be able to help.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So aside from buckling down on the busy season that you have coming up, what do you have in store for next year?
Ooh, that's a good question, Carl. I think for next year, first we'll try to get through the busy season here. It'll be really telling, which direction we sort of go. how much we sort of lean into all of this, just based off of how busy the busy season is. We're really anticipating that it will be quite busy, as we're seeing now. It's really ramping up quite a bit, and we're already we're only sort of early mid-November. So it is really picking up, and so to answer your question with 2026, I think adding some more services. Mike mentioned potentially expanding within our the ARC mall over there, where we currently are in Ilion. That's a consideration. Getting a little bit more of a larger footprint, where we might be able to add services, large wide format printing and things of that sort.
Gotcha. Wonder if they'll give you some warehouse space over there.
They might, yeah. And that's actually that's a really like an untapped right now, because the ARC has their logistics portion of it on the side there. The logistics side of it is really quite untapped, because we might be able to partner with ARC, and I've had some talks with them as far as some warehousing, or they have a loading dock there, so that could be a benefit for like I said, warehousing or any other sorts of logistics that we might be able to come together on there.
Awesome. So we're getting close to wrapping up here. Is there anything else that you wanted to maybe let people know about, what you have what going on, or?
Yeah, no, I would say just follow the Facebook. People can connect with me on LinkedIn, or give me a call or an email. It's 315-556-8400. They can connect with me there. LinkedIn's always great. I'm always happy to bounce ideas off of folks, and if they need any help with business stuff, or just anything.
Awesome.
Give me a call. Yeah.
Awesome. One last question for you before I let you go here.
Of course.
Do you have any advice that you would give people who are either looking to start up a business, or have one just starting up, running into some challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question, Carl. I would say, don't get too overextended is one of them. I think, I forget what the statistic it was that we learned in business school, but it's the majority of small businesses do fail. It's just kind of the truth of it. But that's not to say that you can't be immensely successful, and there are businesses that have been very successful, obviously. But yeah, don't be afraid to fail. You have to keep in mind, when the time is to seize opportunity and when the time is to kind of scale back or whatever. But for example, with the Dolgeville store, we that was the opportunity that was in front of Mike and I at the time, and it was great, and we made it work, and it catapulted us to where we are now, successfully in Ilion. But we had to first seize that opportunity in Dolgeville, and then we had to seize Ilion, and so it's all a progression. There's going to be setbacks. People are, there's going to be some setbacks, but you got to stick with it.
Yeah, and if you learn to adapt, then you can keep on going.
Absolutely, Carl.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Of course. Thank you for having me, and
Absolutely.
thanks, Dave.
Thanks,
You're
Dave.
welcome.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. Take care.